Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, on behalf of your Denver-based podcast crew, we appreciate you joining us for the friendly vibes.
Coming to you live from what is a very, very cold Top Shelf Studios. You might even see our breaths today, folks. I'm joined by someone that I've really been looking forward to talking to. Someone that's so far along in the process of comedy that he's decided to pack up and leave. No, I'm just kidding. He's got greener pastures on the other side. And the Denver comedy scene is worse off for losing him. But I'm excited to get to know him more today. Dan Bublitz Jr.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. Excited to be here. I'm surprised our paths haven't crossed sooner.
Seriously.
Honestly.
I feel like I may have seen you out in the wild. I don't know if we've ever formally met before.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Well, that's what's wild about comedy, and especially in bigger scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many comics you don't necessarily will cross paths. Like I produced several comedy festivals, and the amount of times that people will come from the same scene and not know each other is surprisingly. It would surprise you how often that happens.
Wow. So they're coming to a festival, they doing comedy all the time in the same city, and they don't know each other.
And they don't know each other. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, as someone who's
especially the bigger scenes.
Yeah. As someone who's trying to be like a student of it and a door guy at two clubs at one of the best in the world, Comedy Works now, for 2 years, it's like, I like to try to think I know maybe who's in the comedy world. I don't have a clue, man. Someone comes through, I'm like, how did I not know about this person already? They're great. Like, what the heck? There must be 1,000 of those out there that I don't know about.
Absolutely.
If you had to estimate how many, working comedians do you think there are in the United States?
Oh, my God. I mean, I would bet you there's got to be at least... I mean, you could break that down into tiers, obviously, with, your stadium comedians, nationally known or household names, that kind of thing.
How about
just road comics, just working? I bet you I would venture, and it depends on how you define working, like if it's their full-time job or not, but I bet you there's anywhere from 100 to 200 working comics people don't know, maybe even more than that.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, I'd say working that this is their full-time. They're only making money doing comedy, whether they're doing road gigs or, because there's cruise ship comics as well.
For sure.
Things like that. There's, corporate comedians.
Big
so
industries.
There's all and they're all different.
Yeah.
And they kind of have different circles, too.
Well, I know Pat Truer came on. He was telling me about how this whole new market of Zoom comedy and corporate comedy in the Zoom space opened up during COVID. And it's like, wow, that's... Where is the comedy world going to go with the AI overlords taking? We'll see.
We'll be replaced.
Yeah. Good luck with that, man. I don't think the AI can do what...
I don't think it can either.
The one good thing is the AI. What AI can't do is be, bigot. It can't combine enough of the nuance of humanity in a misguided presentation that's funny. Yeah.
I was thinking about that today, actually, on my drive down here from Loveland. I was thinking about technology, and I was like, no matter how hard you try, technology will never replace humanity. And the reason I was thinking about it, because I was thinking about driving, and I went to a comedy festival in December and I had to rent a car, and it had the sensors all over it. So if you had it in cruise control, if you got too close to another car, it would take control, and shut the cruise off or whatever. And it just made me think about that. I was like, no matter how you lose that touch of humanity, no, technology is not going to be able to replace me paying attention to my surroundings. Sure, it has a sensor, but what happens when that sensor malfunctions? That kind of stuff like that. But.
Yeah, well, I think it will replace it. It's just that it's the fight of, is there enough people willing to continue to crawl through the mud of the messiness that is being a human instead of taking the easy path? And I don't know, the last 100 years of
lazy people that'll take that easy path.
History suggests that the last 100 years of capitalism would say that Americans are going to take the easiest, cheapest route. Always.
True. You're not wrong on that.
And they'll be fat and sick and they'll die young. But but at least we'll be able to know the answers that the AI gives us, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, driving is, for me, that's a scary one, where I personally, growing up, I hated riding the car. I had so much anxiety, did not like the car. As soon as I got behind the wheel at 16, I was like...
It's a lot different.
Because it's a control thing in my head.
It's a control,
So why there's got to be people like me out there. How are we going to give up the control thing element
I'm the
of
same. Like when I'm riding with somebody, I get pretty uneasy and pretty nervous. But when I'm behind the wheel, it's like whatever. And I'm sure people that ride with me get nervous when I'm behind the wheel too. So I'm sure it goes both ways.
Right. Dang, dude. So you've been running a festival, Laugh Out Loveland, right? For how many years has that been going on now?
2026 will be our 4th year.
4th year. So, that is fantastic.
4th year. But I've been involved in 3 other festivals across the country. So I've been producing festivals collectively. I think last year was my 17th or 18th festival.
Whoa.
Collectively, yeah.
Wow. And when did you yourself get into comedy?
I got into comedy. My first open mic was in 2010.
Okay.
So I've been doing it.
How old were you then?
I was 31.
Wow.
I started late.
Gotcha. I don't know about that.
Well, compared to some, there are comedians that start in college and even high school and or right out of college and that have been doing comedy longer than I have, but they started, in their 20s. But no, I started when I was 31, just right like a month before my 32nd birthday.
Was there an impetus that led to that first open mic?
It was a divorce, honestly. I went through a big life change, and comedy was something that I kind of always wanted to do. It was kind of always in the back of my brain, and something I've been interested in.
You did the classic, give me the mic, fuck that bitch. Let's... No.
I think there's that new movie that's out.
That's right.
What is that?
With Will Arnett.
Will Arnett, yeah, that Bradley Cooper wrote and directed.
We looked that up. It's forget the name of it. Jordan Jensen's in it.
Yep. Chloe Radcliffe is in it as well. Is this thing or no?
Is this thing on? I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Or is this funny? I don't remember the exact name. But anyway, that's very similar.
Okay.
My scenario is very similar to that.
So you're going through some shit and you're like, I'm going to use this as a way to...
I didn't just randomly walk into a open mic or whatever. It was more of it was a conscious decision. It was like, like I said, even in my early 20s, I almost, because I got married very young, and my wife and I at the time separated, and during our separation, I started thinking about pursuing stand-up, and then we got back together, and so then I didn't, think anything of it, and then, then we ultimately did get divorced, and then when we did, I was like, you know what, now or never, so
wow, I'm
going to try this, and so I did.
Yeah, is this thing on? Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Yep, that's the one.
With my body, am I out of the shot?
No, you're good. Your shoulder's like right on there.
Do you want to move okay, whatever. I'll just lean in tight.
Nice and tight.
Nice and tight.
Nice and tight.
Really, we don't need me in the shot. We need him in the shot. So. Well, that's crazy. So was your first 5 just all about turmoil of navigating that, or?
I mean, not really. I mean, there was a little bit about being divorced, but a lot of it, it was a lot of my writing was that, though. Like, when I started sitting down to try to write, a lot of it was like, it was a way to process the divorce and the big life change. But ultimately, a lot of my jokes were very immature. They were like immature comedy. Like, when you see a new comic at an open mic, they're brand new and they go up and they're just doing dirty shot comedy, and you're like, they're new. You can just tell. You don't even have to ask them. You can just tell by their joke writing. That was a lot of, me. It was a lot of, I have a small dick, that kind of stuff, and just stupid shot comedy. Yeah. And then kind of talking about kind of navigating dating and stuff as well was another thing, because that was the first time I'd ever really dated.
Wow. How young did you get married?
I was 19.
Whoa.
She was 18.
Were you religious?
Ish.
Was that any of the impetus for it?
A lot of it was on her side. I felt pressured because she came from a very religious family, and so there was a lot of pressure from her family that we should get married. But me, I did grow up pretty religious, so it was definitely there. I could definitely feel that, like, guilt or shame, that kind of thing. But
interesting.
But also, it's where I grew up. That's the thing. Like, where I grew up, it's part of the environment it's either you graduate high school and you go to college and then you get married, you have family, whatever, or you don't go to college, you get a job, get married, have family, and like that's kind of the paths that we're presented with growing up. So.
Did you go to college?
I did not.
Just got married.
Got married and started working.
What was the job that you found out of high school? In South Dakota, right?
Well, my first, I was still working when we got married. I was in the food service industry. I was a supervisor at a Hardee's.
Whoa.
Yeah, I made $6.20 an hour.
Working hard or hardly working?
Exactly. I
would have been busting that out all the time.
What's crazy, though, that was enough. But I could pay for my own. I rented a house back then. Like, my wife at the time had a part-time job, I think, working at like essentially a department store. And between the two of us, like, we made enough money we could like rent a house. Right? At $6.20 an hour.
Bro, I work 2 jobs, a full-time job, a part-time job. Yeah. My wife is in school, works jobs. That's how you rent a house today.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild how that has changed.
So you get into comedy. Did you start in South Dakota then?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, the comedy club that I started at no longer exists. However,
was it in a city?
Yeah, it was in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is the biggest city, of South Dakota. There was a comedy club there called Fat Daddy's Comedy Club. It was in the basement of this bar, Lucky's, which is still there.
I'd have to imagine that's a great spot to do comedy.
And now, well, it's cool because now it's not called Lucky's anymore, but they turned that space that was the comedy club into like a speakeasy type of thing and whatever.
Oh, nice.
And I don't think it really caught on. So now they've been doing more like live performances there. So now they do run regular comedy shows there. So now it's called like Club 224 at Lucky's or something like that.
Nice.
But they do a lot more comedy. In fact, I'm going to be there in February. I'm doing a show at
Epic.
Yeah. So I've done a couple shows there. I think this is the second or third one that I've done there, maybe. But I know it was really cool the first time I did a headlining show there because it was like full circle. It was like, this is where I started. I'm headlining this room. Yeah. Even though it's not the same name, but it's still the same venue, essentially. Yeah. Like the same like fake brick wall is still there. I mean,
that's epic. I have a lot of love in my heart for like a Midwest basement comedy club because that's where I started. Mm-hmm. I was going to college in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at Co.
Oh, okay.
And we had this comedy club in town called Penguins, basement style.
I never got to go to Penguins, but
you've heard of it.
But I heard of it.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I was gonna say. Anyone that's been a road dog as long as you, usually they've heard of Penguins.
Oh yeah, and well, because isn't that down kind of by the Quad Cities too, or is that a little further away from?
Yeah, it is. It's about 30 minutes north of Iowa City, which is about an hour west of the Quad Cities.
Okay. Yeah. I knew like that corner or whatever. I've done some comedy down that way, but
nice, dude. Yeah. So yeah, Midwestern crowds of like, oh, it's a red state and it's a blue city, or there's a college here, and like that's a great place to do comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
So me, ignorant kid, I'm like, I know what comedy is. I've seen it on the television. Been watching it for years, right?
Yeah. And same man. That's exactly the same mentality I had when I started comedy. I've been watching comedy forever. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'll go get a door guy job. That's what all these pros say is like the route. And so I get the door guy job in the first shift. I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about what I thought this was.
That's how I felt when I moved to San Diego. Because I about six or 7 months into comedy, I was like, you know what, I'm going to California. And I was going to move to LA, but then I started dating this girl, and her family was in San Diego, and she wanted to be closer to a family, so we ended up moving to San Diego, which ultimately was good for me because it was a better place to learn about comedy. Because some really good comics came out of San Diego while I was there, like they were coming up. So it was good. It was good for me because I got way better at comedy being in San Diego
than you would have in LA.
I think in LA. Because in LA is way more competitive. There's way more comedians, and there's not as much stage time. And one thing I noticed after I moved to San Diego, there'd be like these guys that would get to that top level of the city and then make that leap, where they're like, okay, it's time to move to LA. And so they go to LA, and then they keep coming back to San Diego to get quality stage time because they couldn't get quality stage time up there.
Yeah, there's literally no like written path on this thing. It's crazy.
That's what's beautiful about it. Like
Yes.
everybody has
Yes.
their own path. There's no, there's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do it. There's definitely things you can do wrong that will hinder your journey, but
For sure.
everybody has their own path, which
Yeah.
I think is great.
It's very Sisyphusian.
Mhm.
That's your first drop. How many minutes in? 15. You hit the over on points bet, you win. Sisyphusian drop is 15 point. All right. We're white podcasting here. We have to talk about Sisyphus. It's the rules. We have to hit all the tropes. Well, that's cool. So you made the jump to San Diego. How many years you spent out there?
I was out there for about 5 years, and then I got to the point where I didn't think I was going to have any more growth, and I had the decision either move to LA and then I decided I'm going to move back to the Midwest because I want to work the road for a while.
Hell yeah.
So
how old are you at that point? Mid 30s?
37, 38, right in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Late 30s.
Damn, that's sweet. So you have the confidence, you have the act. How many minutes do you have at that point? You got a full hour?
No, not at that point. I'm a good feature, and that's what I did. I came back and started featuring.
Yeah, which is
Word on
like,
the road. Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I'm consistently trying to convince other open micers that are, in the company's like, hey, guess what? If you can get to where you're like a feature for someone on the road, like you've made it. That's like what you're going. That's your like goal,
yeah,
guy.
I mean, that's the other thing with comedy. Like, sure, if you blow up online, you can surpass some things, but you probably aren't going to be very good if you surpass. Like you really have to like go through the process. It's a long game. You have to go through the process. You have to start as an open micer and do your open mics and build a set. And then you got to start emceeing shows or, at clubs or independent shows, whatever. And then you build your act till you have a half hour, and then you start featuring for people, and you keep building your act until you're ready to headline yourself. Like it's a long process. But I think if you stay the course and you don't get discouraged or whatever, you're gonna become a better comedian anyway, because you're going through that and you're really doing all the things.
Well, that's reassuring to hear, because I'm constantly trying to remind myself like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be funny for another 15 years. Like I'm like try to work this muscle called funny as much as I can through every occurrence of life, especially on stage.
But funny doesn't necessarily, it isn't a link. I mean, you can be funny now, but you can have a couple funny jokes. That doesn't mean you have an act. That's the other thing people often forget. Like having an act, you obviously you want to be funny. You're being a comedian.
Let me be maybe more specific to get at what I was trying to say. You're being funny all the time to develop your voice as a person and confidence in yourself and how you're funny. And then that plus writing and work and applied practice is what kind of builds up the act.
Absolutely.
So like me discovering that like every single day of my life, people are going to comment on my height. Oh, I better write about this a little bit. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, that's a good observation, because the key is like, when it comes to like humor, I find anyway, having relatability. Like when you see some of the best comedians, the material that they're using, the reason it's working is because the audience can relate to what they're talking about. And if they can't relate to it, whether it's, I'm sure you've seen this plenty working at a club where a comedian makes a reference to something, but because the reference is either outdated, maybe
I had one of these last night.
Or it's outdated, or it's too new for something. Like people don't get the reference.
Here we go. Here's a fun little. It's a fit anywhere joke that I've come across last night. Someone was asking me about how someone died, and I asked them. I said, "Do you know how Larry Silverstein died?" And they said, "No." I said, "Well, it certainly wasn't 9/11." It's like, that's a fit anywhere joke, you can, that's just fun, one back pocket Rolodex type joke, Cool.
Everybody knows it. It's a reference whether you were live or not.
The young kids don't. That's the fun thing too.
Yeah.
And then there was a middle-aged one around my age, and I'm like, do you know who that is? And he's like, yeah, the person that did 9/11. I'm like, well, okay.
Let's calm.
Come on. Don't tag my joke.
You're like, I don't need your help writing, okay?
No, that's great, Mateo. Thank you.
It's like, I don't want to be paying you for this, okay? You're not getting that writing credit. Get your own IMDb credit.
Dude. That's so funny. Well, I'm at that stage where I'm trying to maybe build up the confidence to think I'm worth applying to a festival. I don't think I am.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I started in college. I had really bad back issues. I call myself like a 2-year comic or something.
Yeah.
Realistically, it's been like 6 or something.
Yeah.
Of time.
But even so, like, being realistic about it. I mean, because we haven't really, maybe we've crossed paths, but obviously I haven't seen your comedy or whatever. But I think after, because even new comics will apply. I think if you're under that 1 year, you shouldn't be applying to festivals. But when you get to that 2 to 3 year mark, that's when you should start thinking of it. As long as you have an act. That's the other thing a lot of comedians don't realize, especially young, like open micers right away. They want to get in these festivals and they barely have 3 minutes. A lot of festivals, you need like an 8 to 10 minute set.
For sure.
When you feel like you have a good 8 to 10 minute set, that's when you should start thinking about applying to festivals and some of the stuff like that. At least in my humble opinion.
Should I tell him about the idea and have him shoot it down? All right.
Have him shoot it down.
Well, with good advice, maybe, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, so here's the idea. It's the smallest, biggest special ever is the name of it or whatever. And it's 5 minutes in a kill box of me doing jokes about height and my mom's big tits. It's just my tightest 5 about size in a tiny room. And it's only 5 minutes and it's a mini special.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, at this point, like with the internet, why? Well, because for one, people have short attention spans. So there's that.
Yeah, and I'm doing a long form show here. Ooh.
That's the other thing where, because I've even thought about doing like a full special, but breaking it up into like sections.
Yeah.
Instead of releasing it as one full, releasing it as parts, almost like a series rather than a full special. Just because, so like releasing it in consumable chunks.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what a lot of bigger comedians have done with before they got famous. They didn't like how all the restraints or whatever. Andrew Schultz is a good example of that. Whether you like him or not as a person,
right? As
a comedian, he really kind of he was kind of groundbreaking with the way he took his special. He filmed it himself, didn't like the stuff that they wanted to do to it, and then he just started releasing clips himself, and then it blew up. So,
yeah. I mean, the non-traditional path, it's like always trying to carve a way to get some attention and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And having some kind of like, and for lack of a better word, gimmick
I'm gimmicky. I'm too big to live. And like, the special's too small to consume is the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fact that you're in this little room too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a physical humor aspect to that as well.
Have you done the Thin Man with Ryan Ergo's room?
I have not done
Okay.
That one
apparently the ceiling's like 6'6". I'm thinking that would be a great place to do something like that. Where I can't even stand up straight. I can't stand up for the special. Like, that would be hilarious.
You'd have to start standing and you're like hunched over just so they can see that you can't, and then maybe sit.
Chris knows my opening joke. I'd come up like the. So people aren't supposed to be this big, as you can see. Just go into
Buildings weren't designed for people like me.
That would be fun.
No, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think it's, like I said, in this day and age with social media and the attention spans, doing something more consumables are probably the route to go.
Yeah, this long form pod thing that I do.
Also, you just got to be willing. You just got to be willing to lose money. Well, lose money
for sure,
because everything costs money.
Willing to lose money, Dan. Look around you. All you see around you is lost money, brother.
Yeah, I know. There's a reason. There's a reason we're wearing winter coats right now.
It's a home studio. Hey, Mark Maron did it this way. I'm just trying to follow the path of the greats.
This is great. The equipment looks great. Insulation, not so much.
Bro, to be honest, it was so much worse. It's so funny. The old place.
It's actually not that bad right now.
It was attached more to the home, but we did this sheetrocking on insulation because it was just, the sound was so trash in here.
Oh, I believe it.
So.
Sounded like banging fucking instinct.
It was bad. It was bad.
No, it does look good. I'm just giving you credit.
No, please, bust.
Because it's not your fault that there's a major crazy winter weather thing going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Where temperatures have dropped. Like 2 days ago, it was 60 degrees.
Right. You're kind enough to still come on. Honestly, most like if it would have been, let's.
Well, I grew up from South Dakota. Okay, this is nothing.
It has nothing. You know what?
This
Dan?
is above zero.
It has nothing to do with that, Dan. It's just that these kids today, my generation, I'll speak for us, we're soft. if I had a 27-year-old coming on today, he would have texted me at 10:30 and been like, "Hey man, it's too cold. I'm not coming." Guaranteed. Yeah, Hollowbones Chris over here. I'll tell you.
I'm just like, I'm over here like I grew up in South Dakota. It was like 14 degrees coming down. I was like, this feels great.
Yeah. Do they have humidity in South Dakota like they do now?
Okay. It's very humid, yes. The weather in South Dakota is very similar to Iowa.
Yeah, brutal winters.
Very brutal winters. Some very hot and humid summers.
Yeah.
That kind of, And it's a different kind of cold than you get here.
Yeah.
Because it's like there with the humidity, it's that like cold, like chill to the bone. Like that humidity just makes it soak right through your body.
Penetrates.
Does not matter how many layers you have.
No. They once canceled classes in college because it was that one winter where it was negative like 40 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you're outside for 5 minutes with exposed skin, you're getting frostbite. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Yep. And even with unexposed skin, you're going to be freezing.
Oh, man. I can't imagine like what the people that are... I guess they must open up more shelters and stuff. There must be some type of public response, but like, I just think about like, I would hope because like, man, that's got to be an event where people are down bad.
Yeah, definitely
down real
need
bad.
help. Yeah, for sure. This, and this isn't even that bad here. Like I said, this is pretty minor compared to what they made it sound like. The weatherman really made it sound. Although weather people are getting pretty lazy when it comes to like
and economists, the both of them.
Figure they're just like, we may get 2 to 2,000 inches of snow. What?
Interest rates could increase or decrease anywhere from 5 to 500 bips.
Who knows?
My God, it's crazy.
Pretty much.
Oh man, well that's so sick. Do you enjoyed festival running?
I do. It's been a great way to like meet comedians in other markets or in other areas. So then that's one thing that's cool about all the experience that I've had with running festivals, and I've met so many different comedians from across the country. I can go to almost every major market now, and I know a comedian there. Probably know 2. So, and I want to like, if I'm traveling and if I'm looking for spots, I have people that I can reach out to that, know me and
which is huge.
And they'll help me put me in. They might not have a show, but they'll be able to point me in the right direction and things like that. And even some of the smaller markets, I know comedians. So it's great to have that.
That's the business too, right?
It's network. Yeah, absolutely. Networking. I mean, you're going to get, even when you for comedians, if there's comedians watching, if you're going to a festival hoping to get discovered by industry, you're going for the wrong reasons. You should be going, you want the stage time, you want to have a good time. If there's industry people, great. But really, you should be going there to network with other comedians because 9 times out of 10, your paid work is going to come from another comedian before it's going to come from an industry booker or whatever. Because a lot of comedians run shows, or it might be a headlining. A lot of comedians that headliners get to choose who they have come with them to feature and things like that. So they're the ones that are going to be hiring you, not the person that hired them.
Yep.
So it's a good way, it's a good way to network with other comedians. And that's really should be one of the main goals of going to a festival, to network with other people.
It's amazing how little of like the career of becoming a road comic is about the jokes.
Oh yeah, it's
like
very,
I mean maybe 30%. I don't know. What would you think?
Maybe even less than that. Obviously you need to have good joke writing skills to be sustainable because, with society changes and everything like that, you need to be able to, your act needs to evolve as you go. But a lot of it is networking. It's, business, because you are your own small business. You need to know what you can be deducting from your taxes, claiming money, keeping track of your mileage.
Do you do all that stuff yourself?
I do.
Okay.
I do not have an accountant.
Okay.
I wish. I'm not that big of a comedian.
No, yeah, just
I don't have a team. I'm everything. We were talking about, before you started, we were talking about all the different hats. I'm all the different hats.
Yeah, that's great. No, I mean, because for the pod here and, wanting to do it the right way, it's like, I work the day job for a small business, and it's like, I get to see how they, structure and worry about business operations, and it's like, how do I apply this to maybe have some growth, or so the IRS doesn't say that we're not a bit, eventually.
Absolutely.
So got to figure out how to demonstrate some income in 2026, which is a good time to plug the Patreon if you want to hop over there. We're going to be eating some chicken wings in not too long.
Ooh.
And you can see and hear us eat those chicken wings and support.
That's some bonus content right there.
Talk about supporting smoked meat going into the mouths of great guests like Dan. There you have it.
I like it. You can pay to watch me eat smoked meat.
I mean, that's the best I've come up with for a cool way to bring value. And
hey, I'm here for
keep it ad free.
I like a good smoked meat, so we're in luck.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But yeah, going back to that, you have to wear all the hats. I mean, unless you become a household name or you're big enough to where you have a management team or whatever. And I will say that I'm not there yet, but I do have, I have a cruise ship booking agent.
Whoa.
I work with an agency that helps with getting cruise gigs.
Whoa.
I haven't done a lot, but I did do my first cruise gig over Thanksgiving weekend, which was really cool.
Where was that?
I flew into Nassau, Bahamas, got on the ship, and then it sailed to Alabama. Because how they use, like on longer cruises, they break up the talent. So like midweek, the comedians get changed out. They rotate them out. So I was there for the second half of that cruise.
That makes sense. Okay.
But
I was going to say, what the fuck kind of cruise route is the Bahamas to Alabama?
It actually starts in Alabama.
I figured.
And
I'm
then ends in Alabama. But yeah, right?
Let me fly to the Bahamas
who wants to sail from the Bahamas to Alabama?
Roll Tide!
Well, and that was crazy because that was one of there was a big game while we were on. And because most of the people were from Alabama, it was like Alabama State and Auburn were playing each other. So like on one of the nights for our show, I don't think there wasn't as many people there until later because they were showing the game like outside by the pool and the big screen or whatever. And I didn't go up there, but somebody said there was like 500 people up there watching this game. So it was pretty intense.
So you've done one so far. What do you think of being a cruise comic?
I mean, it's not going to be for everybody. A lot of the work is the travel. It's exhausting. Like, and a lot of times I got lucky and didn't have to perform the day that I embarked on the ship. But a lot of times you do. Like there was one comedian, he was going to a different ship, but we all got picked up at the airport together, and there was another comedian where the people were like stressing out because he wasn't on the ship yet because they were like getting through customs and immigration. Sometimes takes a little while, and there was a big college basketball tournament that was going to be happening at one of the like hotel casinos there in the Bahamas. So there's a lot of extra people coming through. And anyway, they're like stressing out, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm probably going to get on the ship and have to go right on stage." And that's after you travel like 8-10 hours. Like my day started at 3:30, I think, something like that. Because I had to get up and then I had to order a Uber because I stayed at a friend's here in Denver, but I took an Uber to the airport because my flight was like one of the first flights out. And it was at like 5:30 or something like that. So, and then I got on the ship at about 3:30 that day, somewhere in that ballpark. But yeah, it was
so the travel portion is the toughest to kind of just get yourself in the right frame to get what you want out of it.
Days, because it's like you have to like do the whole travel stuff, switching planes, making connections, things like that.
For sure,
the whole 9 yards. So it gets to be a long day for sure.
Would you prefer that over like driving the road, or do you like the driving?
I will say I do like driving. However, the idea of like somebody out, like all I have to do is hang out because then I can do other work. Like if I want, I can work on writing and I can work on, other projects at the airport or whatever, or while I'm traveling, or I can read, whatever. That's nice. When I'm driving, I can't do any of that unless I have somebody driving for me. So that's nice. And then I did a friend of mine decided to, he was kind of forced to resign from a job. And he's still looking for work or whatever, but he's just kind
Anthony
of looking.
Fauci. No. I'm trying to think of who else has recently publicly resigned.
But I took him on. He's going to try to help me get me booked. He's kind of acting as a manager for me.
That's cool.
So
nice.
I kind of we're working together. Good friend. He also dabbles in comedy a little bit. He's newer, a couple years in, but he's really good at sales and doing cold calls and things like that. So he's got a lot of experience on that end of things. So we're gonna work together and see if he can help me increase my bookings. So
yeah, epic. Well, I mean, that's got to be a tough...
So technically, I do have a manager now.
Hell yeah.
But that was just as of last week.
This guy's blowing up, folks.
Yeah.
You better follow him now.
Yeah, get on it. Get on it.
He's got
going
momentum.
places. Like the Arctic wasteland of South Dakota. That's where I'm going.
And so you're headed up there for a more stable job?
Not so much a stable job. I have a stable job here. I have a really good day job here. I work remote. It's very flexible.
Got it.
But
I wasn't sure if it was like a better opportunity for stand-up type of job or something.
It's more, I'm trying to get closer to my dad. I got to help with family stuff is the reason I'm moving.
You're just being a good person.
Yeah, pretty much.
A good family. Yeah.
A good son, yeah. I mean, my dad's not ill or anything. I know when I say I'm going to help my dad, people are like, is he okay? Like they worry about that. And health-wise, right now he's fine, but he is getting older, but he just has a really big estate that we need to manage. And I want to get ahead of it because... Otherwise, if something happened and he did pass away, I'm gonna be stuck with all that stuff anyway. So it's a do it sooner than later kind of situation. So.
Well, damn. Speaking of doing it sooner and not later, it's time to eat.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I'm going to go pull these smoked chicken wings. And if you want to join us, head over to patreon.com/InTALLerable and you can be a part of the fun. Help support smoked meat going into Dan's mouth. Come on, folks. You know you want to do it. Have you listened to radio before in your life, Dan?
Look at this beard.
It's going to be full of slop.
Full of slop. Greasy, juicy, sloppy beer.
I know you want to see that. Just come over for the fun. $2 a month. It's a cheap rack of beer over the course of a year. Come on. Support the show. Keep it ad free.
You'd be like me, and you can just equal it to how many PBRs.
There you go. Help buy half of Dan's PBRs today over the course of a year with your $2 a month subscription.
I'm going to be like, I'm getting paid $30 or 15 PBRs.
I'm going to kick us to break with our signature station identification. You're listening to 91.1. Oh shit, was that another plane? We'll be right back. We're back. We're live. It's the After Hours show, and our bellies are full of chicken.
They are. Chicken and beer.
We had to go inside today for the Patreon eating, but don't worry, we brought a camera so you can still see and hear it. Just might be a little different than usual. Mm-hmm. It's time for a wing review, Dan. I'm nervous to ask, but what do you think of those wings?
They were fantastic. They were top tier, top shelf, as you would. Top shelf.
Reach up, baby. Come on.
Well, I can't reach the top shelf, but that's why it's good to have tall friends.
Hey, let me give you a boost up there, Dan. You can get that pan down that we use once a year.
No, they were delicious. Yeah, some of the best wings I've had.
Oh yeah, dude. Do you eat a lot of smoked wings? Or?
Not necessarily smoked wings, but I do eat wings.
You've had smoked wings before?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah, I've definitely had smoked wings before, but yeah. But just wings in general, like some of the best wings I've had, period. Whew. So that's, yeah.
I'm telling you, folks, smoke your wings. If you're out there and you're like, I want to try my wings a different way, smoke them. Give them a go.
Yep. Fun. Like you said, they were like a little crispy on the outside, but juicy inside. And I don't know what you did for seasoning because it seems more like a dry rub, which is my thing.
It is just a rub.
Yeah.
30 minutes before you put them on, just easy rub.
Yep. For me, a lot of times when I get wings, I get them naked anyway because I I don't like them all wet and gooey. Like I still use sauce, but I'm like, I want to dip them. So
Gotcha.
that was a good like, because there's still seasoning on it or whatever. But yeah, not all like messy and everything.
Yeah. Wait, so you would get them, just to understand, like regular fried wings, or?
So like if I go to a restaurant that has wings, I order them naked. So yeah, so they just don't put any, unless they have dry rubs. So I will do a dry rub now and again, depending on where I'm at. But a lot of places don't have dry rubs. They'll just do like sauces or whatever. So instead of having them tossed in the sauce.
Oh, so after they cook them, I see.
Yeah. That's what I mean by naked. No, I eat them. Yeah. No, I don't even have them cook them. I'm like, I want them naked. Just put them out raw.
I'm like, I like naked as much as the next guy, but I don't know what we're getting at.
Haven't you seen a naked breast before? Come on.
They're great, Sean. They're great.
No, they cook them. Yeah. I just don't have them tossed in sauce. Gotcha. I like to dip them. I'm a dipper.
Rare. Extra rare.
Yeah.
Naked, in fact.
Yeah. I don't want any clothes on these wings.
Damn, dude, what a review. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming all the way down here and for my humble little garage freezing show.
This is like I said inside on the little sneak peek on the Patreon, but I said that was worth the drive. You have to go get my other full review.
Hell yeah.
By subscribing to the Patreon.
Yeah, there you go. See? Look at that. King of promotion.
Can you tell I do? Can you tell I do marketing too for a living?
Oh man,
doing shameless plugs for your podcast, not even mine.
Too kind. Well, let's talk about your podcast,
seriously.
The Art of Bombing.
Yes.
I mean, what a great name for a podcast to begin with.
Thank you.
And the concept being, let's talk about some of the worst gigs we've had
and what we learned from them. That's the important part about it. It's it's a podcast that I created for me personally. It was to help process bombing, because I created it early in my career. The podcast is going to be 9, so I've been doing it since 2017.
Wow. Sick.
And when we were talking about, on the first part of this, we were talking about, when I left San Diego to go back to the Midwest to work the road, that's when I started, doing more gigs. And then I really started feeling, you bomb and it was like, whoa, this is brutal. Like, it's one thing to bomb at an open mic and, you're doing 3 to 5 minutes, but when you're doing like a half hour plus and you bomb, it just stings a little different.
Yeah.
Because even when you're bombing for 3 to 5 minutes, it feels like an eternity. Now imagine that eternity times like 5.
Yeah, it's like
it's way more amped up.
You feel like purgatory. Like, when am I getting out of here? I'm stuck here forever.
How do I get out of here? This is not. Yeah.
And so because that was happening to you, to process that, you're like, shit.
Yeah, I had one really bad show.
Okay.
Like, felt bad in hindsight, and after I actually finally went and listened to the tape,
wasn't as bad as you thought.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Okay.
But in the moment, like, it was one of those bombs where I was ready to quit comedy. Like,
where'd that happen?
It was in South Dakota.
Okay.
It was a corporate event.
Oh, well, shoot.
Yeah, it was kind of a corporate event. There was a couple different things that happened so my step uncle and his wife, they were on the planning board for the EMS Association, which was the Emergency Medical Services, and they have a big conference every year where they bring a bunch of emergency service people together to do training and workshops and all kinds of learning events, and then they also have like some entertainment type stuff and things for them,
the monthly firefighters from the calendar come out.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. I obviously was, one of the firemen from the calendar.
Mr. November, you might remember him.
But anyway, they asked me, and this was like one of my first corporate type of gigs. Like, I'd done a few here and there, but this was like one of my first like ones that I booked on my own kind of thing. And because they were family and I was still trying to build my name out in the mid, because I had just moved back to South Dakota, and so I gave him a discount, whatever, and that was fine. But originally I was supposed to perform while they were eating, like they were going to have the buffet style, get the food, then I was going to go up and perform. And they asked me if I would wait to go up because they were going to do their award ceremony. And I didn't realize that was going to be as long as it was. And I was like, sure, I can wait till after the award, whatever. Couple hours, maybe. It ended up being like from 6 to 9. So like it was like 3 hours of this award ceremony.
That's when people are ready for comedy, after they've already sat for 3 hours.
Yeah, and ate buffet style food. Yeah, yep. So
primed.
Yeah, ready to go. Well, and that was crazy. Even after I was going to perform, they were going to have like a DJ and do like a dance thing too. So, and then this is after. You get 3 hours of this dinner and award ceremony, and that's after all day of being in workshops.
But you got to keep in mind,
like,
Dan, these people are EMS. They're on call 24/7.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But one of the things that made it difficult. So at the end of the last award that they give is the was like the EMT of the Year award.
Okay.
And this particular year, the recipient had just passed away like 3 weeks prior after a long battle with cancer. And so they showed the video of the people that nominated him reading him the nomination letter. He was with his family and friends that were reading this. And the guy was like a saint. He was like a deacon at the church. He was a teacher, a coach, Boy Scout, man. Like any possible thing a guy could do in a small town to like be like a good community member, this guy did. Like, so it was a very, very sad scenario.
Yeah, the earth lost some salt that day.
Yeah, exactly. So they show this video. There's a standing ovation after the video. And then they give the award. His wife is there to accept the award on his behalf. So his widow is there. She accepts the award, blah, blah, blah. There's another standing ovation. She goes and sits down. She's sitting at the very front table. So that they get over with the award ceremony, and I'm just sitting at a table processing all of this. Like, I'm just like, because I have to do an hour after all this, and I'm just like, well, this is wild.
And the professional in you knows that what you're supposed to do off the top is talk about the fact that this widow just came up to accept this award.
And also not be mean about it.
Yeah. Find this little pocket of funny and not horrible.
Yeah, I have to acknowledge what happened and show that I'm in the room, but do it in a way that I'm not the bad guy. But also, I'm sitting there, and this
brutal, bro.
And I forgot to mention, like during the ceremony, through the whole night, the two guys that are hosting it have been hosting this for years. They work together. They're doing jokes all night, but they're doing Scandinavian jokes. I don't know. You being from Iowa, you have probably heard of the old Ollie and Lena type jokes, where it's like they're like street jokes, but they're like old Scandinavian jokes.
Please, maybe this is what my grandpa had him Rolodex of. I don't know.
Probably. And in the top of my head, I can't like think of one specifically, but anybody that is from the upper Midwest knows what I'm talking about. Yeah,
just look up for a frame of reference, because I kind of want to know.
Do Ollie and Lena jokes. Just do Ollie. Ollie and Lena jokes, and you'll probably come up with something.
Ollie and Lena are a couple where Ollie says, "Wherever you want, babe," and Lena already decided 3 days ago.
It's just stupid little Midwestern kind of silly.
Ollie says, "I just need a minute to think." Lena says, "Cool, I've already thought for both of us." Okay,
yeah, stupid like little like little jokes like that or whatever.
Misogynist little one-liners, yeah.
Yep, exactly. No, exactly. That's mostly what they are.
Yep.
And so the the older of the two, he's probably in his 70s, but the older of the two MCs is doing these Ollie and Lena jokes all night and just crushing, because it's Midwestern humor. So anyway, so they do that award, and then they have a place setting for the service members that have fallen. So it's called the Last Rites place setting. So then they do the closing ceremony with that, where they come in and take their place settings away, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm sitting there just kind of waiting. I'm like processing all of this, and I'm waiting for them to tell me when I'm going to go up. And then one of the MCs comes over and he's like, "Okay, whenever you're ready, you can go up there." And I'm like, you're not going to introduce me? And he was like, oh, I guess I can. And I'm like, aren't you, in my brain, I'm like, aren't you the MC? Isn't that kind of your job? So then
he's like, all right, bro, whenever you want.
He goes up and he's just like, all right, now it's time for comedy. Here's Dan. That was my intro.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So then I go up.
You couldn't have been more buried by circumstance and not the comic in front of you.
Oh, yeah. And then I get up there, and as I'm up there, people are leaving. And I know, and in my brain, I know it's because they've been in training all day. They sat for 3 hours. They're tired. I'm not upset about that. There's people getting up and leaving, and then there's people getting up to go give their condolences to the widow who's sitting right up front. I can't, and I know as a professional, like in a comedy club, if there was like a weird circumstance where somebody got up and just started talking to it, you're going to address it, you're going to make fun of it, you're going to do whatever. But this is a professional corporate gig. I can't do that. I'm going to immediately look like the bad guy. And so I pretty much just opened up with, I was like, wow. That guy was a saint. 2 standing ovations. Don't know how I'm following that, but I guess here we go. Comedy.
Yeah.
Like comedy.
Yeah.
as the DJ said, comedy. So I go up there, and I didn't quite do the full hour, but that I did like 55, 57 minutes, but I could tell like they were tired. They didn't, and the people that stayed and watched the show, they were very polite and
that's what you want out of a comedy
I know, right?
audience. Polite.
But,
yeah.
I mean, I did have a few people after the show, after the performance, come up and they're like, "I'm really glad you were here. That was really funny." Yada yada yada. So I did get some compliments, but while I'm on stage, just seeing the reactions, like I think the biggest laugh I got, I was like, "Well, this is great." I said something about, I was like, because I started stumbling over words because I was kind of getting a little nervous, whatever. I started stumbling over words, and sometimes I do that. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I will stumble over words, and I can't and not even when I'm nervous. Sometimes it just happens, and then I make a joke about having a stroke. I'm like, I think I just had a stroke. And then I made a joke. I was like, well, this is the best place to have a stroke because you're all EMTs. And then I go, but based on this set, you might let me die. And that got my biggest, and that got like one of the biggest laughs.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
that's so
I
funny.
power through the set. And now I have to go ask for the check after I was in the room. I was aware. So I'm like, I got to go get my check. So I'm sitting there waiting for the check. And that old guy that's doing these Ollie and Lena jokes all night comes up and he's like, hey, kid, just keep going. You'll get there. Like he was some professional comedian, like he'd been doing comedy his entire life. He's just like, keep at it, kid. You'll get there. And I was just, in my brain, I was just like, you just did a bunch of old street / book, from a book jokes. And I did a whole hour of original material. How dare you, sir?
Yeah, for real.
Instead, I just took that check and I walked out.
Bro.
Got in my car, and I had like an hour drive to get back home from there, too. Yeah. And so I'm driving home, and I was like,
silence or music?
Inside. I think I'm gonna quit comedy. I called a friend. Actually, I called another comedian friend of mine that had to talk me off the ledge. It was basically like, tomorrow's a new day. You'll be fine. Just, just breathe, let it go, whatever. Shout out to my buddy Nathan Holtz, fantastic comedian in South Dakota. Yeah, thank you. Talked me off the ledge. But that was what inspired me to do the podcast, because then I started talking to other comedians about the show and bombing, and they were just like, yeah, we bomb all the time. What are you talking about? And then I realized it was every comedian is bombed. And so it was a way for me, to start talking to other comedians, to kind of, it's almost like the therapy thing where, it's a sense of, oh, I'm not alone. Other people are experiencing this. So we're talking about the experience of bombing, because it's essentially trauma that we share.
Yeah.
And then it evolved into, oh, hey, we can look at this from a retrospective perspective and like, oh, hey, let's look at these bad shows. What did we learn from this scenario so that we could try to prevent it down the road? And then it became what it is now, which is, we talk about bad shows, but really, what did we learn from it? How can we get better? And it's a good tool, especially for newer comedians to listen, because there's so much advice that comes out on the podcast from all kinds of different comedians, because it wasn't just like, oh, I need celebrity comedians. I've had comedians that have only been doing comedy for a few months to comedians that have been doing it 30 plus years, like whatever. And they all have a different, interesting perspective on comedy. And there's always been something that you can take away.
Can I give you a quick giving of your flowers to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
As someone that's been a road dog like yourself. I booked you, and I put out the calendar invite and invited Chris on it, and Chris instantly hit me up and said, "Holy shit, you got Dan Bublitz on the pod?"
Are you serious?
Yeah, bro. So people yeah, dude. So like,
2 months.
yeah, bro. So
wow, that's crazy.
So yeah, bro.
Especially since since you don't do comedy.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Respect the game.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
So,
I'm glad to hear that. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot more of those like little hidden impacts that everybody makes out there in the world,
absolutely.
And I wish we got to hone in on them a little more. So.
Oh, I agree, and that's why like my podcast isn't. It's not a podcast that has a huge listenership. I see the numbers, but I know that there are people that are getting something from it, and that's why I keep it going.
How many episodes have you done? You said 9 years?
Yeah, so we're at regular episodes. I'm at 320.
Whoa.
And then I also with bonus episodes.
Patreon or?
No, so I do down the road, like through a few years ago, I think I added what I was doing them as bonus episodes periodically, and they were called Between Bombs, and I was going in and I was going specifically like on a topic. Like I did a Between Bombs on festival submissions, where it was like me just talking about things you should think about when you're going to submit to a festival. And then I
read your something you wrote about.
I wrote a blog too about it. I wrote an article about it as well. But that article kind of stemmed from
that podcast,
from that episode of the podcast.
Got it.
I also did an older one, and it may not be available anymore. But I did one on putting together a good EPK and things like that. So it was like
What's
more
EPK. Am I stupid?
Electronic press kit. So yeah,
yes, I am stupid is the answer.
No,
very polite of you to not get directly
unknown is all. That's all. But a few years ago, I brought on a producer. I have a different producer now, but we started doing essentially now Between Bombs as a companion podcast. So I do every other week. So I'm getting ready this week to launch season 10. So regular episode will come out on Wednesday, I think the 28th of January, with a guest. Then the following week we will release Between Bombs, which is the companion episode. And what we do, my producer Larry Smith, comedian friend of mine that lives in Chicago, we take 2 or 3 talking points that kind of come up in the episode, and then we drill deeper into them. Okay. And talk more. Hey, this is more. We basically take those topics and give more advice and guidance revolving around that kind of stuff. And is that,
you guys do that over Zoom then remotely?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. And then all of those, and they're all released. So those are released as bonus episodes, but it's in the regular feed.
Okay.
So it's not like a Patreon.
Gotcha.
It's available to the public.
Is it video or just audio?
I release video too, but I don't put it out right away. So I do audio first, then I release the video a couple weeks after the episode comes out.
Gotcha. Is there a reason for that?
Time consuming, even with a producer. We're also both comedians, and
for sure. No, just wondering if there was a strategy wise or what it was.
Nope, it's just totally. It's all about the timing of things.
Brother,
it's just hard
I get it, man. Yep. I work 60, 70 hours a week and still find an extra 15 to 20 hours to edit and do the podcast. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's all about the time. Yeah. Just not having enough time for everything.
For sure, dude.
So,
that's epic, man. Good on, I'm so happy to have you on my show as someone who's a veteran podcaster. I hope I can get to that many episodes and that long of a run. It's regardless of viewership or numbers, you get something from it talking to different people, whether you're talking about anything.
Absolutely. And that's one of the coolest things about it. And I do get to talk to different comedians and different people from different, different areas of the country, different walks of life, and I've had some pretty big celebrities on my podcast. You were talking about Chad Daniels when we were inside about him really liking your book. He's a guest that I had.
He's the man, dude. He's so fun.
Great. And the episode right before him, I had Louis Anderson. So and that was a cool honor that I was able to. I had Louis on. Forget how it was I think it was the same year that he passed away, but it was a few months before he passed away. But it was a really cool honor to have him on. And he was like one of the sweetest people I've ever met. Like, he was so giving with his time and with the insight that he had on comedy. Just, it was crazy that he agreed to do my little podcast.
Yeah. No, dude. I feel I had Maddie Smith come on the show and with one of her high school friends who happened to be here in town, and it's like, that's crazy that you can have people that are nice enough and kind enough to give their time to you to come and do your show.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome.
And I think for me, I don't think I'll ever be famous. If I could just be a working comedian, that's kind of my end goal. Like, I would like to make most of my money, my living doing comedy.
Yeah.
And then comedy adjacent things. But even if I did get big and famous, I would like to think that I'm still humble enough that I would still do stuff like this. Because this is what it's all about. It's about community, and it's about helping each other out. Like, that's always been my thing. I want everybody because there's enough for everybody. It's not oh
my goodness, go off on this, because
there's,
as an economist, when we talk about zero sum things, this is an important concept, I think, for people to understand. A lot of life right now in the modern world feels zero sum, which means if you get it, I don't get it.
Exactly.
And that is not it.
It is not it.
There's an abundance. There's
There's a way to find your own fan base. There's something for everybody. Just because one comedian gets this TV spot doesn't mean I won't ever get a TV spot. It just means that I probably wasn't right or on the right path for that. It might take me longer to get that same spot, but it doesn't mean I'm out forever. And that's just like life. I feel like we live in a society where people think, like you said, that zero-sum mentality where it's like, well, if so-and-so gets this, I can never get that. No, that's not true. You can get the same thing they get. You're probably just not working as hard as they are. And sometimes when it comes to entertainment, it is luck. You're in the right place at the right time. That's going to happen, but that happens with a lot of different industries. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't get discouraged. Keep going. You're on a different path. If you're really serious about anything, especially the arts of any sort of art, if you want to be successful, and you have to figure out what success means to you, because that's the other thing. So many people don't really define or understand what their success is or what they want success to be. You can't really make goals and set achievable steps to get there if you don't know what that looks like to you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've always been and I owe this to my mentor, comedian Spencer James. I became really good friends with him early on in my career, and he's always been goals to the point where he can be annoying when you get together. He'll just be like, so what are your goals? What are you he wants to talk goals, and it's good because it puts you in that mentality. And
the guy's finished score, man.
Yeah.
Goal.
And he's one of these people that is accomplishing the things that he wants in his career. And so
you can't really be like, no, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
But because of that mentality, I'm the same way in the sense where I always set goals, but I set achievable goals. You can't sure, I could say I want to have a Netflix special. Well, what am I going to do to get to that? Well, then you got to set littler goals along the way to accomplish that. Each goal, your smaller goals should be a step to a bigger goal, whatever, but you should make sure they're obtainable, because if you don't, you'll get discouraged and then bitter, and you get into the I shouldn't do this, whatever, negative mentality or the zero-sum mentality, and you end up making things worse for yourself.
Totally.
It's focus on your road, your path, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's all about endurance, essentially. It's a long game. Everything's a long game. You just have to keep going. You can't give up.
Yeah, and you got to really ignore the fences and grass because a lot of people get caught up on the fences and grass.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, my goodness, does that look green over there? Like, quit looking at that fence, quit looking at that grass, stay in your lane.
Yeah, because a lot of the greener grass you see is just a delusion.
Yeah, bro.
You know,
it's a mirage.
I'm just gonna say it's a mirage. Yep.
Mirage.
We just shared a brain wavelength there. It's just a mirage.
It's the new Trump hotel coming to the West Bank. We're calling it the Mirage.
You're thirsty.
You're saying you committed a genocide to get this hotel. I'm saying that's just a mirage. Sorry, I was trying to find. That's horrible. This situation's horrible.
It is, but that was pretty funny. I mean, if you have a dark sense of humor, pretty funny. As you can tell, I have a little bit of a dark sense of humor.
Greenland, we're calling it Trumpland.
Actually, we're calling it Iceland.
Did you hear about? Brother, I hope I didn't screw up your audio on that. That was so good. Oh my god. Okay. Why one Iceland when we can have two? Two's better than one. Do you hear about these? Like, I heard someone told me this week that there's Canadians in middle of Canada that are like trying to petition to like secede and join the U.S. or something like this.
There's some weird stuff all over, so it does not surprise me by any of that. But I'm like, I live here and I don't care where people are politically. People that know me know that I lean more left than anything, but I'm just about human right. Like, I don't trust any politician. I think they're all
you're on the right show. Brother, you're on the right show. They're all
working for the same corporate masters and whatever.
You mean we've had a uniparty since when?
But I'm just like, any other country that wants to be part of our country when you have things a lot better, why? That's why Greenland doesn't want to be part of our country. They're like, we see America. Everybody's struggling. Like,
bro, I'll push back against this though. We have it. We're still like, we can, like, I bitch and moan and complain about us as much as the next or more, but still the best time in history in the best place ever to be alive. Like, I think that's for sure the case.
I mean, maybe. I was just going to say a lot of other countries where, when it comes to the, like, universal health care, like, it would be nice to live in a time if I had a major health issue, it wasn't going to bankrupt me. That's kind of where I'm looking at, like, so, like, the quality of life. I mean, we do have a lot more freedoms than a lot of other countries. I will admit that for sure.
Yeah, but I guess freedoms, opportunity, there's this like inherent luck, success thing. Like,
a lot of success now is luck, or you're a nepo baby.
Yeah,
that's really.
Yeah, well, we were talking on a recent episode about like the equation for luck of like preparation and whatnot and different ways to evaluate that, but like. There is some part of that here that definitely still reigns supreme globally because people want to come here for that opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And I will say this, it's just one of those things too, when somebody does get lucky, are they going to be ready for it? Because
shit, bro. That's like I was telling you on the Patreon when I got that guest set, and how many reps had happened in my career before that, and should I have,
But you were ready because
I was ready because I've been working in the dark.
And you did great. You said you had a great set, so you were ready for the opportunity, whether you believed it at the time or not.
That's that self-doubt thing.
And that's good though. Yeah. Having a little self-doubt as a comedian, I think, is great because that's what'll ultimately make you a better comedian because you're self-aware. You can look at yourself objectively and be like, okay, I did fine, but there's room for improvement.
For sure.
The comedians that I feel like don't grow are ones that don't have that self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
They just think they're just killing all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, even if they have an okay set, to them they're crushing, and if you don't have some self-awareness, you can't grow. That's the biggest thing I've learned from the art of bombing is that failure is how you get success.
Hey, there we go. So every time this camera cuts out on us, Chris, we're one step closer to
That's right.
never doing it. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's true. That's true.
It's so true, man. No, yeah. I mean, every time I make a mistake, I've gotten better at the thing.
Yep. And it's just like, you look at sports when they, sure, they'll probably look at some of the games where they won, but they're studying the games they lost more than they're studying the games they won. Yeah, and that's same thing with comedy. You got to look at the games that you're losing.
So if you had like advice for people that are on the come up in comedy, open micers that want to get better, that want to work hard, is it in line with mindset? Is it in line with work ethic? What would you like?
Well, it's a little of both. You got to have a mindset of, for one, you got to have a little bit of self-awareness.
Yep.
You got to be able to take constructive criticism, even from yourself.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to, and part of that is, and I tell everybody this, I'm also bad at this, but record every set and then watch it. Especially when you're a lot newer, like that's the way to get better, because you can hear what, and kind of analyze it. What are people laughing at in your set? What are they not? And then maybe you're doing two different premises. One premise gets a lot of laughs, the other doesn't. So then maybe instead of working on this premise and getting obsessive on this premise that isn't working, expand the one that is.
Yep.
And then suddenly you have a great 5-minute set just on this one premise, or whatever it might be. But I think, and it's also having the what's the word I'm looking for? The resilience. You got to be resilient. Keep going, because you're gonna have failure. If your first time you fail, if you get frustrated and want to quit, you're gonna have a long road. Because comedy's one of the.
Just that.
You want to pop it real quick? Sorry.
Sorry, but I didn't do a good job.
That's all right.
That's
At
the
least
that you say that.
The worst. The art of learning here live.
Well, cameras overheat. That happens. But yeah, going into that, like I said, you just got to be self-aware, be resilient, keep going, and
quit.
Yeah, and
Most of you quit. Most of you listening should quit.
Honestly, just quit. As soon as you just quit. Actually, that would be great. If you would quit, there would be more stage time for me.
Bingo.
And then I could maybe I'd be a working comedian full time by now if other comedians would just stop doing comedy.
Just quit it.
Just quit right now.
Yeah. Well, brother, it's been an awful fun time having you. I don't want to keep you in our cold studio for too long. But have you heard of this country called England before?
Oh, you mean the UK?
They do this thing called knighting over there.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir Elton John and whatnot. Well, here at Top Shelf Studios, after a long form conversation, I am doing the hiding.
The hiding.
Because all my life, people have been like,
"Hey,
you must play basketball. How's the weather out there?"
I thought you said hiding.
Hiding.
I was like, wait, are you about to hide me?
Good.
Good
reminder, Sean, to speak and enunciate your words, you dumb shit.
It's like suddenly you hide me somewhere in the studio, and then this becomes a game, interactive game.
For the hiding.
An interactive game. Find Dan. It's like those object finding games.
Get ready for the hiding. 30 seconds on the clock. There's $3,000 somewhere in this room. You've got to find it
before the clock runs out.
No. But I'm really tall.
Hiding, okay.
My whole life, people have been like, "Holy shit, you're tall." I've been trying to make a bit of it, and I think I'm getting close to figuring out this.
I'm sure you've said this already.
It's like the core of my thing of in my hour of figuring out how to make people understand and relate to the fact that they're talking to me in public in a way that you'd never do with anything else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now
So
I've
how
got this
tall are you?
prefrontal lobe, right? For the last 2 years, I realized I'm like, I'm waking up in a meat suit. I just drive a vehicle every day.
Yep.
Right? It just happens to be a very large vehicle. And I look out in the world, I'm like, wow, we are really just judging each other on the size and color and shapes and national origins of our meat suits almost more than anything else. And it's very silly to me. So after a long form conversation, I am pleased to give you a heart height. How tall do you stand physically?
Physically, I am 5'4".
Dan Bublitz Jr. I heart height thee 7 foot.
Wow.
The
that's
newest member of
amazing.
the 7-footer club. That heart is too large to sustain a long life. You will require a procedure. But man,
all right.
I feel so fortunate that you've shared some of your time here with us and that you came on my silly little show. It means the world to me. Thank
I
you.
had a great time. This was fantastic. Thanks for inviting me.
Where can the people follow you, check you out? See, you got shows. This will be out in a little bit, so I guess.
Well, just for shows, if you want to see me live, just go to my website, danbublitzcomedy.com. All my shows are always on there. I got a few shows here in Colorado before I leave. Otherwise,
is your EPK on there too?
It is. My EPK, my EPEG. No, my EPK is on there.
You on there?
My EPK is more for bookers than it is for fans. But
okay, fair enough.
Got that on there. Yeah, if you want to see me live, go there to find all my tour dates. Otherwise, I'm on all social media platforms as DBUB Comedy. That's DBUB Comedy. And then my podcast is available wherever you get podcasts. The Art of Bombing podcast. We're, like I said, in a few days we're releasing season 10.
Fuck yeah.
Episode 321.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Well, so, I'm happy to just have known you and to get to know you better here today, and I will be cheering on every layer of your success and goal setting along the way. So you've got one more fan in me.
I appreciate that, and likewise. Now that we know each other, I look forward to seeing what you do.
I appreciate it.
You've already. I mean, you got a really good book, so.
Things Trump knows best. You can get it on Amazon. Or just come to me and I'll give you a copy. It's just blank bound pages.
Yeah.
As always,
really great
like
joke.
and subscribe. Someone needs to make a blank book for the left. No one did. This idea, by the way, is over 5 years old. I had this idea in 2019.
Really?
The origin of this idea is that in 2016, the first Trump election year, I'm a freshman in college. Michael Knowles, this guy that just graduated from Yale with a BA in history, comes out with this book, Reasons to Vote for Democrats. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It was a New York Times bestseller. It went viral, blah, blah, blah. This guy lands himself a position with the Daily Wire, and now his whole career is being a political pundit. Not what I want to do at all, right? But I had this idea a couple years down the line, like, why don't they do this for the other side? Like, left people would buy a blank book as much as people on the right would buy a blank book. Reasons vote. So I was like, things Trump knows best.
If you want to do another, and
then on the back, look at little touches. These are fake quotes. Read some of the fake.
I will. But I was just gonna say, if you want to do another,
please,
another, what do they call, volume or whatever,
re-edition
or a new edition of it, you could turn this into a writing prompt. So you could put a writing prompt. And then it could be like a writing journal.
That'd be fun.
Too.
Okay. I like that.
But yeah, to read some of the quotes, let's see here. We've got, from all the way back from the 1940s, we've got good old, I shouldn't say good old. Let's scratch that. Edit that out.
Oh, hold on a minute here, folks.
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. Rewind. Not good old, but, from history, Adolf Hitler says, the thinker for a generation, timeless. What a leader. Am I right, folks? Kim Jong-il. I can't even say his name right, which is fine. And finally, from Kamala Harris, I was born in the middle class. You're merely adopted it. There we go.
Yeah,
right here, the book. It is really funny, though.
It's a good thing to leave on your table if you've got liberal friends that are around. They'll be disgusted and be like, "Why do you have this?"
Because you name the chapters, that's the other thing. So you really could do writing prompt, on there on each pages or whatever. That's funny.
Then there's fun little disclaimer here at the very, very bottom.
I can't read that. You see,
disclaimer, this book is a physical meme meant to spread joy. It does not contain typical written content and should not be used for any purposes besides laughter in perpetuity.
There you go. All about the laughter.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. Hit us up on Patreon. See the eating. Go support Dan. See him do comedy. And as always, fuck off and be well.
He doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody.